Good morning, everybody. What an honor to be with the firefighters and to be with my great friends who I've worked with for so many years. I first want to recognize Mike Muller, who is president of Virginia, who is the president of the association in our great Commonwealth of Virginia. It is a great honor to be with him today. I also want to recognize Mike Hanks, the secretary-treasurer, and I want to acknowledge John Nemec, who is the president in Fairfax County, my home county. And of course, my friend for over 25 years. And folks, if you're ever in a foxhole, there's one person who you would always like to have in that foxhole next to you, and that's your great international president, Harold Schaeberger. Mr. President. As you know, under Harold's leadership, the International Association of Firefighters has been an extraordinarily effective advocate for its over 300,000 members. And that's because of an approach that he emphasizes with all of you of working together instead of a partisanship agenda, and what Harold believes and all of you believe, that we need to work together with shared values. And the most important value is honoring those who risk their lives in our community and providing opportunity for all hard-working Americans. And the reason I decided to run for governor in Virginia is because of those similar values that I grew up with. As Harold mentioned, I started my first business when I was 14 years old. I knew I was going to have to help pay my way through college. I got to work. I remember it like it was yesterday. I'd been coming home. I'd been caddying golf bags all day, up and down hills, 5 hours, and I'd made $8. I was a young man, and I figured I had thrown my life away. I was a failure. And I saw a young man out there sealing his driveway, and I said, I can do that business. So I went home and typed up a letter, got 10 jobs my first days, and I conned my mother into taking me down to Kmart to get those little 5-gallon barrels of tar. And then I took my little red wagon around my neighborhood and did driveways. And then the next year, I needed to go big. I needed to do parking lots. And I remember I went around to Syracuse Savings Bank and I looked at their parking lots, and nice parking lots, but I went and took pictures of all the potholes they had and took a nice picture of a big pothole. And then I went to the competing bank, took pictures. They had potholes, but I didn't take pictures of that. I saw the beautiful tar laid out. And I went down and put a big portfolio of pictures together. And I went down to the president's office of Syracuse Savings Bank. I had a beautiful polyester suit on. If you'd gotten a match near me, I probably would have gone up in flames. And I said to the secretary, I'm here to see the president. She sort of laughed. I'm a young man, 15 years old. And I said, I need to see your president. This is life or death for your business. And she sort of smirked, and I had a big portfolio of pictures, and she let me in to see the president. I went in, and I showed the president the pictures of all the potholes in his parking lots and the beautiful competition's parking lots, which were all clean. I said, sir, your business is about to go under. At 15 years old, I walked out with every single parking lot of Syracuse Savings Bank. Now I was in trouble, though. I couldn't have my mother in the wagon. I had to do big parking lots. So I called my Uncle Billy Byrne, who owned Byrne Dairy. And I said, Uncle Billy, you got some of these old dairy trucks that you don't use anymore? And I said, I need one of those. And I was his nephew, and he said, yes, Terry, we'll do this at some point. I said, no, Uncle Billy, I need it today. He said, well, Terry, you're not getting it today. I said, well, I've got to get my business going. I've got contracts, and I've got to fill up those big 50-gallon barrels of tar to do the parking lots. He said, well, we'll go out to Cicero, New York someday, Terry, and we will work out a truck. I said, I can't. I got to do it today. He said, we're not doing it today. Well, I was a young entrepreneur, a young hustler, as I like to say, and I drove out to Cicero, and I found all the old Byrne Dairy trucks, about 30 of them, grass up to here. And I found the truck that I thought would be the best for my business, big, huge old dairy truck, and I brought spark plugs and a battery and some gas, some oil, fixed it up. And folks, I remember when I turned that key and that engine roared to life. It's a feeling to this day that I still get goosebumps when I think about. I drove that truck home on Interstate 81. Remember, I had no license and no license plates, but that was immaterial to an entrepreneur. But it's those experiences that I want for every hard-working family in Virginia. I want everybody to have the opportunities, and in order to do that, we need quality education. We need workforce training. We need a modern transportation system. and the knowledge that working hard as a teacher or a police officer or a firefighter means that your retirement is secure and your dedication is valued. And as you know, governor's races do matter. And now they matter more than ever. With all the issues we have going on in Washington today, the race in Virginia is a clear case of two different candidates with two different views of where we want the Commonwealth to go. You either have a governor like myself who wants to bring people together and focus on common sense solutions, bringing businesses, growing businesses, helping economic development, or a governor who will divide Virginians to advance their own ideological agenda. And because of this political gridlock by ideology and partisanship, average Americans have been repeatedly subjected to uncertainty in these tough economic times, uncertainty about taxes, government shutdown, public safety. The politics in Washington are as badly broken as I have ever seen, and it's because Congress has forgotten that their responsibility is to help the hard-working people who elected them instead of opposing any compromise for partisanship or ideological reasons. In Virginia this month, we showed that politics can still work if folks will work together, something that Harold has done his whole life, and if you demand action. For nearly 3 decades in Virginia, we have been unable to pass a transportation bill. Dorothy and I have lived in the same home for 21 years. And we first moved to Virginia, a place that I chose to raise our 5 children. Used to be easy to travel around Virginia. It then became ultimate gridlock. In Northern Virginia, 70 hours a year stuck in traffic. Hampton roads, 35 hours stuck in traffic. $1.7 billion wasted as cars just idled. We needed to make a decision. We needed to move forward. Average Americans were fed up. Average Virginians are fed up with these issues. So our governor, who was a Republican, said enough is enough. Reached out to the Democrats in the legislature and others on the outside and said, folks, it's time to work together. And we all crafted a compromise together. And now we have billions of dollars that will be able to go to fix our transportation, so that you firefighters can have an easier time traveling around Virginia and you're not stuck and the response times aren't going up. That's what we need to do so families can go see their children in the afternoon, go play a ball game, and it shouldn't take 2 or 3 hours stuck in traffic. But that's what happens when folks work together. And as governor, I want to work with all sides. If you're willing to work with me, I'm willing to work with anyone 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, creating jobs, creating economic development, making sure that your retirements are secure. But the lessons that we have done in Virginia, we need to bring to Washington because things aren't working. If we'd worked together, we would not have seen the sequestration which has just happened. We have taken our government and our economy to the level of brinksmanship that is doing nothing but hurting every single hardworking American family. And we have seen threatened funding for fire and safer grants. At a time when America is facing its most serious financial decisions, in a generation, we need to make sure that we are working together, that serious leaders come together and work together. Leadership means having folks stand up and fight for those things that matter to all Americans. And as governor, I will do that for you. I will continue to... We need a leader who is willing to stand up and fight on the issues that matter to all of you. I am sick and tired of politicians and the scapegoating. I'm sick and tired of politicians blaming hardworking, average American families. We elect officials to get things done. We elect officials to compromise, to come together to move things forward. And that's why Harold Shapeberger and the IAFF has been so successful, to reach across the aisle every single day to say, let us work together in a common sense way to help the average hardworking Americans. And you folks in this room are the symbol of hardworking Americans. I am honored to be here today with the International Association of Firefighters. We respect your work. You are on the line every single day fighting for us. And as governor, I will be on that line every single day fighting for the firefighters. Thank you very much.